I want you to pay close attention if you are struggling in creating your content for social media, or maybe you have already created posts, you've went live, you've done many of the things that these social media platforms tell you to do, and you are not getting the results that you desire. I will be going live over the next 30 days, Lord willing, on Instagram to share tips with you on how you can be unique in your marketing so that way you can communicate that through your social media posts. So if you are tired of using the same trendy audio or you're tired of using the same type of posts, maybe you've already developed a posting schedule, but you're sick of it, then I want you to tune into this challenge because I'm going to give you a few ideas as well as walk you through how you can be unique in your marketing. So if you're interested in tuning into that, you can go over to my Instagram page, which I'm going to link in the description, Lord willing. But it's Instagram.com/_pretty and then the word Nikki, Niquey. I hope to see you there. And if you are watching any of the replays or hearing this podcast later on, then you're going to want to scroll your content to June 10th, 2023, where hopefully the videos will still be up there. You're listening to the Warrior Rulebook podcast with me, Monique Harmon. I love helping people express themselves, protect their peace, and be confident in being them. You may also know me as Pretty Nikki, who started her online journey as a modest fashion blogger. Now I'm an entrepreneur. You'll see through my experiences and the experiences of others that change is possible, improvement is tasty, and meaningful connection is transformational. Come on, share your story with me. The stories and information presented in my podcast is not intended to take the place of medical advice from a healthcare professional. So any exercise, diet, health-related, mental health matters vary from person to person. So nothing in the podcast will be construed or used as a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any action taken based on the contents of this podcast or the resources is solely at your own discretion, risk, and liability. So this podcast is simply here to be encouraging, but you should definitely seek a healthcare professional for additional help. Now let's get on to the show. Thoughts can be so provoking, right? They can be discouraging, and especially if they're reoccurring in your mind, as often thoughts are, it can be very discouraging at times. And sometimes your interactions with other people as well can be discouraging to the point where you don't really want to talk at all, or you don't really want to express yourself at all. And so, the reason why I decided to talk about this aspect of caring too much is because it can really hurt you. I definitely have experienced that as well. And sometimes it's hard to be nice in a world that is so cruel. But I think what allows me to still be able to care and still be able to love on people despite different things that I go through with them or with other people is, of course, God's help helping me, but also understanding that everybody goes through everything. And so, or everything that's going on in their life. And so it's important to give people grace as well as try to see the positive in a interaction or see the positive in a situation. And so I think it's important as well to care to a certain extent where you do offer a helping hand, you do extend your resources, but if you see that they aren't getting you or the person anywhere, or the person is not willing to take that help, then I think it's safe to go on with your life and move on, because you can't keep staying in a situation that is detrimental to your health or your help. And I think I was trying to say two words at once, but yeah, it can't be detrimental to your health. And I think as well, like, you have your own things to worry about as well. And so it's really important to just go through life and reevaluate, but also reflect on your decisions, the things that you say, and how it does affect other people as well. That's definitely something that takes a lot of practice to do. And I think it's also important to be understanding or try to step in the shoes of someone that is going through that particular situation and see if you can empathize with them and understand them and also acknowledge them and their pain and things that they are experiencing. But I've also noticed in different areas of my life where I have to market myself, or whether that's for business or if that's for personal life, or if that's trying to sell someone on an idea like, hey, we should go do this. I have to put my best foot forward. And I can't put so much of my feelings into that particular outcome to the point where if it doesn't go that way, I'm falling to pieces. I'm falling apart. And so I think it's okay to have faith that that particular situation will go my way. But I think it's also important to detach yourself from the outcome in a way where it's like, if it goes your way, that's great. If it doesn't go your way, then, it stings a little bit, but I'm going to move on, because there are certain instances where people have been rejected. I have been rejected for things that I wanted, things that I thought I was qualified for, things that, I felt I could be in that. And if I wasn't invited, or if I wasn't um, accepted for a particular thing, I would feel really sad. And I had to think about it in terms of like, just because you're qualified for that particular thing, you still may not fit that particular situation. So I think just going through life and just being able to accept what the facts are and be okay with how things turn out regardless, I think that makes you so powerful. I know it definitely has helped me become more powerful, in terms of still being humble, still being able to analyze different situations, my behavior, the behavior of the other person, and just evaluating, okay, what are the next steps? Where do we go from here? What is the next thing after this particular outcome? How can I create a better outcome? I think that is also helpful as well, because I think sometimes as well you can try to direct people, for example, on a right path, but everybody has the right to the path and the choices that they make. So you can't be upset if someone doesn't take your advice, even if they went to you for it. So that was something that I had to learn as well. I think us as caring people, we do try to give the best advice as possible. Some of us, we may drop what we're doing. I know I've definitely been a victim of that. Something going on, I drop what I'm doing and then I try to help, but I can't do that in every instance because that will slow down my progress or slow down my life. But I think it's definitely an acquired skill to make sure that you're not overextending yourself, but that you are still being caring in the respect of the person, or being caring for that particular situation, but just again evaluating how you act, what the situation is, what the outcome is going to be, and just being satisfied with that outcome. So that way you're not stressing yourself out and you're not hurting your own peace. Because I think even after certain situations may occur, you may still have feelings from that particular outcome. So it's just a matter of dealing with that recovery. So I know for me, I have recovery periods when it becomes a particular situation or an outcome to a certain situation. And I just kind of think about, okay, how does this affect me? How do I feel? How do I feel better after this? And so I think that alleviates a lot of the pressure as well, allowing yourself to go through the feelings and go through the process. And I think as well, something that's really important, which is something I'm going to address in my marketing challenge, Lord willing, is not caring so much about what other people think as well, because that can affect your peace too. Because I think we've all been in that situation where we have tried to please other people. We have tried to appeal or appease to other people, and you're not happy afterwards. And you may even find that person themselves aren't happy with how you're trying to please them. They may still not be satisfied, right? Because we should be just pleasing God to begin with. But I think that is definitely hard when you want to impress other people or you don't want to look crazy in front of people. So you put so much care and so much pressure in trying to make sure everything is perfect and making sure you make no mistakes. When you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, that can affect your heart, that can affect how you even function as a person. So I think having a carefree attitude at times, it can definitely be healing. Definitely honoring your boundaries and stating what your boundaries are, especially when they're being inflicted upon. You can't care so much about the other person to the point where you are damaging yourself in the process. And that is something that I have been guilty of. Like, I will drop my feelings, I will drop everything just to try to help the other person when it should be a situation that you are compromising if possible, or you're able to state, here's what I can do. I can't do any more than this. And just being okay with stating that. I think that that is something that is definitely needed in this time and day because we are inundated with so many tasks that we have to do throughout the day and throughout our life. And sometimes we may ask for something and we may not know what the other person is going through. So it's up to them to be like, hey, I'm very busy right now. I respect what you're going through and I will pray for you. But right now, I can't be here because I'm dealing with my own things. Or just letting them know, or them letting you know, like, hey, here's how I'm able to help. I'm able to help doing X, Y, and Z. The rest, you're going to have to go to somebody else. You're going to have to go to God, something like that. So that way you're able to protect your peace. And I respect that so much. Like, just being able to be in a culture where people aren't afraid to enforce their boundaries and let you know that they can't be here right now, or letting you know that they are not available for this right now. I think that is just a really good thing to state. And so that way everyone understands what's going on to a certain capacity, and they are able to function and go from there. So if you enjoyed this episode and you love carefree experiences and understanding different relationships and navigating different things in life, you'll want to check out the rest of my podcast episodes that are in the podcast playlist. And again, if you would like to join in on the challenge of mastering your unique marketing, you can head over to my Instagram page and just take in the knowledge. I'm not asking you to go live for 30 days. That's just something that one of my online mentors encouraged me to do. And so I will be doing that. Lord willing, pray for me that I will keep up with the 30 days because that sounds very scary, but I want to do it and I want to deliver the best content to you guys. So if you have any questions about how you can stand out in your marketing, then just simply put them down below. But I would prefer if you comment on Instagram since that's where this challenge will be taking place. But if it's easier for you to comment down below, I will try to look down below as well and then transfer those questions over. So I hope you have a good one. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Warrior Rulebook podcast. If you like what you heard, share it with a friend and join me over at the Warrior Rulebook Podcast Insider group on Facebook. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more tips on how to be resilient in this world.